So yeah, some more thoughts on punk. Just got me thinking that, with my last video, that I've argued that punk is probably more relevant than ever, like with current day politics, the way the world is, especially when it comes to politics in Britain and Europe, and that punk is birthed by working class rebellion, where it is very much to its core a working class movement. And at the minute, the working class in Britain are mostly centre right when it comes to politics, I think, including myself. I'd say, like, I'm very centrist. I'd say I'm someone that's very centrist, that has Christian Western values, which traditionally to a lot of people, especially people that might lean towards the left, is not exactly punk rock. But because I think some people would say like punk is more of a left wing sort of movement, I guess. But I don't think it's either. I don't know. It depends on the way the world is, the way the current state of the world is, because it's about working class culture, the working class feelings, and because ultimately it is anti-establishment, it's anti-government, anti-rich elitist class, all that sort of stuff. And at the minute, I think the rich and the elitists of Britain and Europe are very anti-nationalism, where they're going out of the way to destroy British culture and destroy Christian Western values. And I think a lot of normal working class people and probably middle class people are very pissed off with that. They're not happy with that. So my argument to say that I think things like Operation Raise the Colours, where everybody's raising national flags like British flags, Welsh flags, probably Irish flags, Scottish flags all over Britain. Like if you're on the left, you probably say, oh, it's racism and it's, I don't know, anti-migration and all that, which it kind of is. But I think ultimately it's anti-government in my eyes. That's the way I see it, and that's why I think it's punk rock, where ultimately it's anti-government, and I think it's come to a time where nationalism has become punk rock when it comes to current day politics in Britain and the current mood for most of the working class when it comes to Britain, which I guess is something that would have never been thought of 50 years ago. And all that, where you had things like the Sex Pistols that on up front was kind of anti-nationalism, I guess, but I don't know if it really was. I don't know, because I weren't really around back then. But like God Save the Queen, and when it was the Queen's Jubilee, that went on a boat across the Thames playing the hits. So it's kind of like always seen as, I don't know about anti-nationalism, but maybe anti-royal, anti-thingy, usually. That's what it's seen as. Anti-monarchy and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I guess like since 50 years ago, the mood has kind of changed in a way. I think. I guess, but that's like it's a complex debate. I think really, but ultimately, I think to its core, punk has always been a working class movement that's ultimately anti-establishment, and that's just the current mood of this country. I think at the minute. But yeah, I think that's all I've got to say on that at the minute. I think, but that's just backing my argument up with what something I said on my last video, because some people might think, go, oh, hang on, how's being patriotic and nationalist punk rock, where I guess that's just the current mood of the working class at the minute, and while this government is anti-patriotic, anti-nationalist and all that shit. Well, yeah, that's all I've got to say.